everyone. My name is Tatum Ayomike. I am the CEO and executive producer here at Anchor Media. Here at Anchor Media, what we love to do and what we're experts at is helping ordinary people make extraordinary impacts and income via their podcast. As a podcast expert, I've worked with many coaches to market, manage their shows, consult with them on their shows. And a lot of them I see make the same initial mistake where their goals of their podcast, which most likely are to get clients, isn't necessarily being met. So I want to talk to you about some mistakes that I've seen over the years that coaches make that are actually hindering them from being able to convert those listeners into clients. One mistake I see too often are time-sensitive offers. Now, as a coach, I understand that many of you guys do webinars and different classes and things that are happening in real time. I get it. But the problem is when it comes to your podcast, people don't listen in order. People may miss it. They may listen once their opportunity is over. So then what? Now, I'm not saying don't have time-sensitive offers at all, right? Because if you're doing something live, you want to use your podcast listeners to get them there. What I am saying is have some sort of backup plan where you can go then and take out that ad that you did for the time-sensitive offer and replace it with something that's evergreen. Or you can create some type of intro to play at the beginning that says, hey, in this episode, I advertised a webinar that I was doing at a certain date. Unfortunately, the time has passed, but I don't want you to miss out on that valuable information. Click the link in the show notes to check out the replay or any type of evergreen thing that you can offer to replace that. It's an extra step, I know, but it's necessary so that you're not missing out on those who are not listening in real time or those new listeners that you get who wish they would have been able to take advantage of that. A huge mistake that I see coaches make are having too many guests on their platform. You should not have an interview-based show if you are a coach. If you're a coach, your podcast needs to be 100% focused on showing your expertise, connecting with your audience, building that rapport, hitting those pain points, and creating a sense of urgency to work with you to solve whatever their problem is. And doing all of that in a way that's not salesy. I understand that sounds like an uphill battle. That's why you work with a company like Anchor Media, where we'll teach you the formula on how to do that successfully. But if you have an interview-based show, all you're doing is creating a platform for other people to make money, for other people to get new clients, for other people to get customers. And then you become the person that's asking the questions and not the person that's solving the problem. And your clients want to hire the person that's solving the problem. We have a client that we're working with now who's a service-based entrepreneur. And when the show initially launched prior to coming to us, it was interview-based. She wanted to highlight other women who are in entrepreneurship. And I kept saying in every meeting, hey, in order for us to successfully be able to convert these listeners, we have to cut back these interviews. Now, I'm not saying don't have interviews at all. I'm saying allow your voice to be louder than the guest. So if you have a weekly show, have one interview a month and 3 solo episodes. But always make sure that your audience is hearing from you more. Bonus points is if that interview can actually be of your client. So that way you're further proving your expertise while also taking a little bit of a break and letting someone else do the talking. Another huge mistake that coaches make is they're not consistent with their podcast. Now I get it. You're probably not consistent because you're not seeing the results, and you want to make sure that you're focused on revenue generating activities. And if that podcast isn't generating revenue, it's something that sometimes gets sat down. I understand 100% the rationale of it, but the underlying message that you're sending your potential customers is that you're not following through on your commitments. Is that you're not being consistent. I've also seen hosts not be consistent because they bit off more than they can chew with their podcast, right? So you may start off saying, I want a weekly show, come to realize, whoa, these weeks come up pretty fast and I haven't been able to consistently put this content out. So they commit to a weekly show when realistically seasonal might be better. And there's this huge misconception that seasonal shows are not as effective or anything like that. That's simply not true. We've worked with many seasonal podcasts who continue to chart, who continue to get new clients, who continue to generate new leads, even in the off season. And we also have things that we do at Anchor Media, where we make sure that we're still engaging the listeners even during the off season. Another mistake coaches make is you're not qualifying the leads before you get on the phone with them for a consultation or before you bring them over to whatever your initial offer is on your platform. When you have a podcast, you're going to attract so many different people from so many different walks of life. And you want to make sure that those that you're getting on the phone with or that you're doing these consultations with that are showing up to your stuff are qualified. So it's as simple as having some type of form before they can book a consultation. Have some type of language to let them know if this is or if this is not for them before they opt into whatever it is that you're offering. It's a small step, but it's one that is necessary so that you can make sure that you're making the best use of your time when you are talking to people who come from the podcast. And lastly, of course, the biggest mistake is no system at all, right? Just podcasting in hopes that because I said I'm a coach, I'm going to get a client. Because I told you that this is what I do, maybe, hopefully one day you'll hire me. So no system at all, honestly, is my favorite because it's a lot easier for us to go and build a system correctly than try to identify and rebuild one that's broken. But not having a system at all is still something that is hindering you from successfully being able to monetize your podcast and to get clients. To learn more about how you can work with us, go to anchormedia.com. I'm going to be talking about this and so much more in my upcoming workshop specifically for coaches. So make sure you click the link to sign up and join me there. I would love to learn more about your shows, your business, and help you not make these mistakes.